Hi everybody, welcome to Stalking the Wild Autoharp. Ooh, that's a good pick. Today we're going to be talking about thumb picks. We're going to talk about a specific group of thumb picks. Last week, as you recall, I started in on talking about the huge tar pit that I wandered into when I started thinking about and comparing thumb picks, all motivated by a new technique that I just did right there, where I'm playing flat picking with a thumb pick. Now, chances are you don't flat pick your Autoharp. I do. I also play thumb lead, and I need a thumb pick that will work for bass as well as playing melody. And so I go on these searches trying lots of different picks and realized that I was getting into territory that would make some pretty good Stalking the Wild Autoharp videos. So what I want to do is help you compare sounds and some of the other details about picks. And we're going to start with thumb picks, but we're not going to do them all today because there's so many out there and so many different types and different families and groups and manufacturers and materials and shapes and sizes and sounds. And this is all the stuff that I got into when I was thinking about thumb picks. So today we're going to focus on comparing picks from the group of picks that I call the Dunlop group. All right, and I'll explain more about that in a minute. When comparing picks, it's important to listen to yourself play like I have and like we're going to do here, because some of these very subtle differences that I'm finding in the picks, when I listen to them, I go, oh, that's brighter, that's scratchier. And then I play into a microphone and I really can't tell the difference, or the difference isn't really as important as all that. In other cases, the difference is huge. And so all of that's important. So it's important to compare your sound, but tone, I've discovered, isn't everything. All right? There's also comfort. If you're going to be wearing a pick all evening, you want to be comfortable. Security, does it stay put? Okay? Wear and tear, your pick. It's your favorite pick. How fast is it going to wear out? Okay? Some picks seem to stay forever. Others wear down, like the one I'm wearing. And also, can you do all that you do with that thumb pick? Or does it limit you to a certain set of techniques? And is that necessarily a bad thing? We're gonna talk about all of that today. So at the end of this video, stick around, because I'm gonna go through a bunch of different picks and then I'm gonna tell you what I like the best. But that's a completely random, like, idiosyncratic choice. You might like something completely different. And if I miss one of your favorite picks, tell me. Let me know about it, because it might be worth warranting a closer look at that pick, and I'd be glad to do that. So let me know what you think of this, all right? So today, the Dunlop group. Now, I'm using that term for a generic set of picks by different manufacturers. Here's one on my thumb now. Oh, look, here's one now. This is a Dunlop. It's just the white plastic large thumb pick, okay? Dunlop makes a lot of picks. When I went and I looked at finger picks and thumb picks from Dunlop on their site, there were 81 different kinds. That's right. And I'm not going to review them all. So I have a selection of them, but they're shaped like this, you know, the good old standard thumb pick. And there's other brands that make them too, like Golden Gate. Here's one by Golden Gate. This is their, well, we call it the clown pick because it looks like a clown threw up on it. And it's a great little pick, okay? But that's the basic shape that we're talking about here. Just wraps around your finger. It's a plastic pick. Comes in different heavinesses, different materials, things like this. And we're going to talk about them. But let me start with this one, okay? This is just a standard Dunlop thumb pick. And if you compare it to the shape of a newer pick, you will see that I've worn on it pretty good. And that's the thing about these picks, is that they do wear down, okay? Especially when I do my back and forth thing. But when they get a little bit worn, they start sounding pretty good, and they get to moving pretty good across the strings. The pointier a pick is, the brighter it's going to sound. And the pointier a pick is, the edgier it's going to sound, okay? And I'm going to show you that here in a minute. But this one's gotten worn down, but at a certain point it'll be too worn to be useful to me. And so that's something you have to consider. How fast is it going to wear out? Well, that depends on your playing techniques. Yours might last forever. Mine don't, at least not if I'm using a Dunlop. But I love Dunlops, okay? They're really great picks. And by this, I don't just mean the brand, I mean the style, okay? There's National thumb picks, okay? There's Ernie Ball thumb picks. There's Golden Gate thumb picks. And several other manufacturers who make picks in this general style. Sometimes they use slightly different materials, okay? So this material, I think we call it a nylon. I'm not really sure what it is because they don't tell us. Secret ingredients, ancient family recipe, I guess. All right, but they wear down, these standard ones. Then they make one that's called a heavy, but guess what? The heavy, this is the one that looks kind of camouflage. It wears down too. Look at that. And I've used this one quite a bit, and it's got good action because it's worn down, and I love it. I love it. But they do wear out, and that's a Dunlop Heavy. All right. I'll let you hear that one next to the white one. Now Dunlop makes their standard picks in 3 different colors, and they are they sound about the same, don't they? The different colors, they make the white ones, they make a clear one, and they make a tortoiseshell one, okay? And they do have subtle differences in tone, but there's too many kinds for me to have them all here to show you. The clear ones are very pointy, okay? And the pointier a pick is, the brighter and edgier it's going to sound, at least while the point lasts, all right? So you can play with that and experiment for yourself. Maybe you have a favorite. Let me know if you do. I'd be curious to hear about it, all right? Here is a Golden Gate. I talked about the clown pick earlier, all right? For some reason, the Golden Gates feel a little bit more comfortable to me. But I can't say why. But they have a very similar tone. And they'll wear out just about as fast. Now you should know also about this celluloid material. The celluloid picks, lots of different companies make them. This one's a Golden Gate. I believe Dunlop makes them too. National makes them. Recording King makes them. They sound a little bit brighter. See if you can hear this difference. See, it hardly makes any difference, all right? But they're a little bit pointier, okay? So they're going to sound, at least at the beginning, a little bit edgier, all right? There's also this one. Here's a Dunlop. This one is the Ultex, all right? and it's a transparent plastic, and it's got a real springy sound. I'll let you hear that against the white one, okay? A little bit springier sound. My understanding, I have not experienced this yet myself personally, but I've read websites that say these wear out faster than others. So just be aware. Your mileage may vary. All right. Now, another thing I want to mention, here is another one. This is one I found on Elderly Instruments. It's called a cool pick. This is a Dunlop style pick. It says cool on it right there. But it's made out of polycarbonate. Polycarbonate is what they make sunglasses out of. And you're going to find Fred Kelly picks in polycarbonate. And we'll talk about those in another video. But it's probably the brightest of all the materials. Nice bright pick, and you can find finger picks in that too. Polycarbonate, all right? The cool pick. I've only found it at Elderly Instruments. I think maybe on Amazon too. Now, one last thing I wanted to tell you about. In Golden Gate, they have the Extra Heavy. The Extra Heavy is an opalescent kind of pick, and it's got a big flange on the thumb over here, which I have actually filed off on mine, because when I get going backwards with my pick, it catches on the strings. And so I have pimped my pick a little bit, all right? And this is something that people do, and it's another whole area. People will alter their picks. Oh, this is a really great pick, except it needs a little bit of, and they'll get out a file, or they'll get out some snippers, and they will adjust, maybe round it off a little bit. This pick is twice as thick as the heaviest picks, the regular Golden Gate, the clown pick, which is a nice heavy pick, but this one is twice as thick. It's almost like it's made out of bone. And this is a great thumb pick, let me tell you. Slightly darker, warmer tone. And I think it's going to last forever. Really great pick. Because it's so thick, it's going to wear slower, real comfortable. The Golden Gate Extra Heavy. Give it a try. Don't confuse it with the Heavy, because that's going to wear down just like a standard thumb pick. But this one, which belongs in the same category with the Dunlops, because it's the same basic shape. Is probably my favorite pick in this Dunlop group. All right, after trying all the other ones, this one is the one that's most secure, sounds the best to me, least amount of noise. I can do all of my techniques with it. It's a real great pick. All right, now elsewhere in this category, there's other kinds. Dunlop makes Zukis, which actually have an angle to them. The angle that they hit the string at, and it comes in various angles, 10 degree, 35 degree. I'm not exactly sure how many of them there are, but they have an angle to them. My question is, if your pick's going to wear out, the angle's going to go away. All right, so keep that in mind when trying those picks. Otherwise, they're the same as the white Dunlop pick, my opinion. All right, so there's the Zukis. You'll have to experiment with others. Dunlop also makes a metal thumb pick. All right, I'm going to talk about metal thumb picks in another video if I ever get to that, because metal thumb picks kind of drive me nuts. All right, my opinion, but they are worth letting you hear them at least, and talking about the differences. I think there's 3 or 4 out there that we could talk about. So that's my summary of these Dunlop picks. Later on down the road, I'll compare them with my favorite picks from the other groups that we're going to talk about. If you like Stalking the Wild Autoharp, if you're getting something out of these videos, please consider jumping over Patreon and kicking down a few bucks every month to keep these videos going. Keep me in picks. You know, these picks are not like totally like inexpensive, and I need to buy more of them for you. So if you are interested in supporting Stalking the Wild Autoharp, go over to Patreon. The link is in the comments section below this video. Also, if you want some private lessons, I give them through webcam, just like this, and we can work together one-on-one, getting you going right where you are at, wherever you are at. I teach chromatic, diatonic, even prism. All right, so consider private lessons with me, and subscribe to this video series, because then you'll get the latest and the greatest right as soon as it comes out. Next week, we're going to talk about some Delrin picks, and that'll be another in the series of Thumbpick videos. So hold on to your hats for that, and until then, I'm Hal Weeks for Stalking the Wild Autoharp. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.